Hi there, this is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video, we're discussing A Death Long Overdue, written by Eva Gates. It's book 7 in the Lighthouse Library Mysteries series. It's not as strong as the other books in the series, but it is still a good read, and it is still one of my favourite series in the cosy mystery genre. I recommend this series so much. The characters are written so well, and the mystery elements usually are written very well. Do give this series a go, and I will have a video up for every book in this series. Let's dive in to this book now. The main focus of this book is a reunion that Bertie's hosting at the library, and it's for people that she went to college with. So I think it's about their 40-year reunion, I think. About 20 women show up. They're at a party at the library. Someone else shows up as well. It wasn't part of the class, but she was the ex-head librarian at the Lighthouse. Unfortunately, she's not a very nice woman. She's quite crotchety. And you already know, because we've got this crotchety character that people dislike, that so many people dislike, that she's going to make the victim. Because often in books like this, it's the character that many people don't like who becomes the murder victim. Why? Because it's so easy then to create suspects in the book. The author doesn't have to try too hard. But in this book, I think there's too many suspects. So we have all the women who have come for the reunion, they're suspects, all of them. Other people in the town are suspects as well, who have known her in the past. So there's just too many suspects in this book, and you've got to juggle them all to keep track of them all. And I don't even think the author did a good job of juggling them all herself, because we get certain parts in the book where there's certain scenes where a group of women are talking and they'll say, this character said this character said that, then someone else said this, and instead of saying someone's name, or say someone I don't know. That's a bit strange to me, and that happened a few times in this book. So in that way, it kind of corrodes a bit the mystery element when you have suspects that the main character doesn't even know their name. I mean, what's the point? There's another element to this murder mystery though, and it's about a jewel theft that happened many years ago. That adds a bit of interest, a bit of intrigue, and a bit of excitement in the book, because we have a missing jewel, missing necklace, and that necklace is worth a lot of money, in the millions. So not only is it a hunt for a murderer, they're also trying to find out where this necklace is. Is it hidden somewhere? Has it gone missing, never to be found again? It's really interesting in this book. And believe it or not, Louise Jane turns up every now and then, as she does in most of these books. But she says something almost offhand in the book. And one of the things she says offhand leads the main character, Lucy, to have a chain of thoughts that leads to, possibly, a big discovery towards the end of the book. And that was really exciting, just to see how that all fit into place. And of course, being Louise Jane, it was good seeing Louise Jane, who is my favourite character, be the start of that chain. Another thing going on in this book is Connor, who's the mayor, and Lucy's boyfriend, is trying to propose to her. Every time he tries, they're interrupted, so it fails. But it's so obvious what he's trying to do. The reader knows it, other characters in the book know it, but the author has written Lucy, the main character, to be totally naive about it. She has no idea what's going on, and I don't know why she's written in that way. It's the second time in the series where the author has written her, the main character, as being totally clueless about something that's obvious. It happened in book 1, it's happening again in this book. I don't think there's a need for it, and it colours the character a bit, puts a bit of off-colour on her, and makes her seem a bit dumb. So in that way, the author could have done something different, in my opinion, because what's the point of having a main character who's supposed to be a bit clued on and solving mysteries? They're being totally clueless about something that's right in her face many times in the book. It's getting quite hard to pick characters sometimes for this section, because I've spoken about all the main characters in this series already, and I've spoken about other characters as well in the series that pop up from time to time. In this book, the main characters who are in the town and pop up most often aren't in this book. So I'm trying to focus on just characters who I think are going to be there for this book only. Let's talk about Tina first. Tina is the victim's twin sister. Quite a peculiar character, very eccentric. Hated her sister, but let her stay with her in town while she was visiting. Hated everything about her, but very, very upset when her sister dies. Keeps going on about how her sister's her only connection, her only family, even though they hadn't spoken for a long time, never got on, even when they were kids. So things don't kind of gel that much with this character, not always consistent. But a very good character, very interesting as well, because you just get a sense that she's always a suspect. Did she kill her own sister? There's always a question mark about her through this book. Helena is the victim and the ex-head librarian in this library in the Lighthouse. Nobody really likes her. She's quite mean to people, very blatantly mean in this book. So she makes a great victim for this series. There's things we discover about her history though. So we find out why she's like she is, and she may not have always been like that. So it's good to get that history of the character, because you don't always get that history about a victim so much. So I found that quite interesting, and I found that it made a very complete character in this book. And it would have been interesting to see if she wasn't the victim, and if she stayed in the town for a bit longer, what would have happened? Would she start to thaw a bit and be nicer to people? I'm not really sure. I think there was a chance of that happening if that character had lived. Sheila is one of the women who come for the reunion. She's the one that stands out in my mind the most because she's very quirky. She kind of gets herself caught up in Louise Jane's hunt for ghosts and spirits. Louise Jane starts talking about things that go on in the lighthouse or around the lighthouse grounds in the marshes and everything, about the history of the area as well. Sheila falls for all those stories, and she even starts helping Louise Jane hunt for spirits and ghosts in the town to try to solve this case by paranormal means. And I found that quite fascinating and quite interesting. And both Sheila and Louise Jane have a few good scenes in this book. And it's really good to see another character be hooked into those paranormal stories just as much as Louise Jane is, because every other character in the book seems to, push Louise Jane to the side a bit if they can. And it was so good to have another support for her in this series. I thought Sheila was a very good standout character, even if she's only in there for one book. Even though I didn't enjoy this book as much as other books in the series, I rated it a 3 out of 5. It's above average still. The characters, for the most part, are still really good, really well written. The mystery wasn't as strong in this book, but it was strong enough, and that other element about the missing necklace, that expensive necklace that went missing years ago, that people are hunting for now, that added something to this story as well and made it just a little bit more interesting. I have reviewed other books in this series, and they're all up on my channel. Go to my channel and check them out. For future books in this series, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on those videos. I also have a cozy mystery playlist on my channel. It should be on your screen now.